Hello, it's Lockston, time for a fast video, and yes, this is a speculation, this is theory, but before you click away, let me just say there are plenty of other YouTubers that make speculative videos about this, and they're speculating based on what would be cool, or random guesses, and people somehow think that's neat. I mean, I guess it's vaguely entertaining, but anyway, as someone who spent over 300 hours researching alchemy, astrology, all of this stuff, mythology, crazy in-depth, how crazy Pokemon's been getting, trust me when I say I'm pretty sure I'm in a good position to make an educated speculation. So of course, so I don't waste your time by explaining stupid stuff you don't care about, but it makes my video longer so it makes YouTube like it more, let's get right into it. You've seen the title of this video. What is the Eclipse Pokemon? What is Marshadow? Firstly, let me just say I'm not entirely convinced it's going to be an Eclipse Pokemon. It might be just another planet, Mars, hence the name. But because of the word shadow, that does seem to imply an eclipse, because that's literally what an eclipse is. The moon covers the sun, and the moon's shadow gets casted on the earth. Anyway, let me start by saying there are multiple possibilities I see, and if you've seen these videos, which I highly recommend you do, you know that in part 1, I did mention that my prediction is that the third legendary will be an Eclipse Scorpion, and that is still one of my primary speculations, because it fits perfectly with alchemy, and if you watched those, then you know alchemy is extremely important in everything Pokemon has been leading up to. Well, in alchemy, there are things called chimeras, where you take animals and merge them. And while in alchemy you can merge any animals, there are a few specified ones found commonly in pop culture and such as the chimera, often a dragon, lion, snake, goat. There are also owl bears, which are owls and bears. And there is the manticore, which is a lion, a bat, and a scorpion. Also, in astrology and alchemy, the eclipse symbolizes death and rebirth, beginning anew, as well as an alchemical marriage, sex. And in astrology, Scorpio represents death, rebirth, sex, etc. Also, there's that name, Marshadow. And in astrology, the planet Mars is the ruler of Scorpio. Mars is affiliated with birth and initiation, while Scorpio, what it rules over, symbolizes retreat and death. It fits beautifully, but there are other possibilities. I'd say the Scorpion has maybe a, 30% chance of being true. I would very much be willing to bet money on it being either a Scorpion or the next one I'm going to mention. The second possibility is a Dolphin. And some of you I'm sure are saying, oh, you're just backtracking your Scorpion thing because of a leak that came out. Well, that leak, I'm pretty sure that one's been disproven. That, and I've had notes about dolphins for a while now, because they fit in so perfectly with everything I'm talking about, especially in Part 2 and the upcoming Part 3. Let me just say that if before the time Part 3 comes out, the third legendary is revealed as a dolphin, then the major point of Part 3 essentially is confirmed. Let me explain what dolphins symbolize. And for more context on everything, I highly recommend you watch Part 1 and 2 of these videos. Anyway, the dolphin to the Greeks, which remember, is the main inspiration of all of the alchemy and basically the vast majority of everything I've been talking about, the dolphin represents nourishment, caregiving, the broader process of life, and especially death and rebirth. They especially represent motherhood, motherly love, motherly caregiving. And the Greek god Atargatis, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, had many pet dolphins. And he uses these dolphins to help dying mortals make their transition to the afterlife. If your mind isn't blown, that's because you haven't watched these. Like, seriously, watch these. Plus, it being a dolphin makes sense, as we have land, sea, and air. Death and rebirth works well with the dolphin, as that's also what the eclipse symbolizes. And when dolphins leap out of the water, they make this arc, the same shape as a rainbow. And more importantly, back in Greek mythology, there are luminary dolphins, which are often represented as dolphins owned by Aphrodite and Apollo, the sun and moon gods. Meaning, one dolphin represents the sun, and one dolphin represents the moon. And with this symbolism also comes, and this is the big important part for Part 3, that these particular two dolphins symbolize being in two worlds at once. Dimensional travel. These dolphins can make portals in space-time and travel anywhere in the universe. And this this is the foundation of part 3, so look forward to that. I'd say the Dolphin has around a 50% chance of being the third legendary, meaning there is about 20% left over. Though of course these numbers are completely arbitrary, and I'm not keeping track. So, another possibility is, and I know this is a popular fan speculation, but a wolf. Wolves of course howl at the moon, that's what they're known for. And as such, in many cultures, they do represent lunar forces. Wolves have also been known to howl at eclipses, but that's around where the symbolism stops. We already have a moon legendary in Lunala, and wolves don't particularly represent sun in any way. Another possibility is a dragon. Of course, dragons have vast symbolism all over the place, but particularly the two-headed Chinese dragon symbolizes rainbows, and the ancient Chinese believed that solar eclipses meant that dragons were devouring the sun. In fact, it was this fight against the dragon eating the sun that caused Chinese emperors to start founding planetariums. And lastly, an ibis, perhaps, or some representation of the Egyptian god Thoth. Thoth is described as the scribe of the underworld and the moon. But more importantly, Thoth is the writer of the Emerald Tablets, which many alchemists and metaphysicists even today is the foundation of spiritual power, is the foundation of alchemical processes, is the foundation in creating the Philosopher's Stone, and perfectly describes Azoth. However, it is also said to be written in such a way that humans are currently incapable of understanding it. Which is why alchemists strived so hard to understand it. The Emerald Tablet also mentions how the world came to be, and it mentions the sun, the moon, eclipses, rainbows, all that stuff. And actually, whether the third legendary winds up being an ibis or not, the Emerald Tablets do play a large part here and are actually being mentioned heavily in part 3. So there's a little sneak peek for you. So anyway, there are my predictions. Again, a scorpion and a dolphin are the most likely, in my opinion. Then we have a wolf, a dragon, and an ibis. Though here's another thing to speculate about. Marshadow is the leaked name that Nintendo has taken a copyright on, but does that mean it's the only other legendary? Could there be more based on the other planets? Could there be a scorpion and a dolphin? Only time will tell. I hope to see you all at part 3 and part 2.5, which is happening before then. So until next time, you stay awesome.